$25,000 electric car everyone said was impossible just became reality. Tesla's Model 2 rolls off the line every 4.5 seconds, faster than your coffee brews. 6 fully built cars in the time it takes to grab breakfast. But here's what nobody's asking. At this insane speed and rock-bottom price, what's being sacrificed? What's happening at Giga Texas isn't just record-breaking, it's rewriting manufacturing itself. And it forces one brutal question every automaker must now answer. Are electric vehicles for the wealthy or for everyone? To answer that question, you need to see what's actually happening on the factory floor. Because Tesla didn't just speed up traditional car manufacturing, they demolished it and rebuilt something completely different. Right now, 5 Tesla factories are churning out vehicles worldwide. Fremont handles the full lineup. Shanghai produces Model 3s and Model Ys for Asia with the highest capacity in Tesla's network. Berlin focuses on European Model Ys. Nevada builds the Semi. But Giga Texas? That's where the revolution is happening. And when you walk into that facility, the first thing that hits you is the silence, or rather, the absence of human voices. The production line is almost entirely automated. Robotic arms, massive casting machines, and AI-driven systems running 24/7 without breaks. Elon Musk himself described it as building real cars the way Matchbox toys are made. At first glance, it looks like a science fiction movie set, but every bit of it is operational, tested, and breaking production records that stood for decades. So how do you build a car in 4.5 seconds when traditional automakers need hours? The answer lies in one piece of equipment that completely rewrites the rulebook, the Giga Press. This isn't just a bigger stamping machine. It's a 50,000-ton monster that can cast an entire section of a car in 3 seconds flat. Think about what that replaces. In traditional manufacturing, the rear body of a Model Y alone required 70 separate metal components, hundreds of welds, and a complex robotic assembly system just to hold it all together. The process was slow, expensive, and created hundreds of potential failure points. Tesla looked at that system and asked a simple question. Why not cast the whole thing in one shot? The result? A single aluminum casting that eliminates over 400 welds. Manufacturing costs drop by 40%. Assembly time collapses from minutes to seconds. But here's where it gets interesting. The 6,000-ton press used for the Model Y can only handle one section at a time. For the Model 2, Tesla needed something bigger, much bigger. According to leaked engineering documents, the new Gigapress at Texas can cast 5 complete chassis units in a single cycle. Not 5 rear sections, 5 complete underbodies. That's the kind of scaling that makes traditional automakers break out in cold sweats. When Ford or GM talk about ramping production, they're thinking in terms of months or years. Tesla's thinking in seconds. Can you imagine what that does to the competitive landscape? Let's walk through what actually happens when a Model 2 gets built. The process starts with molten aluminum poured into the Gigapress mold. 2 seconds later, it's pressed into shape. Robotic arms extract it immediately, plunge it into a 50-degree Celsius water bath for rapid cooling, then place it directly onto the assembly line. No waiting, no intermediate steps, no wasted motion. While that's happening, a parallel line is assembling the structural battery pack. Tesla's innovation that turns the battery into a load-bearing component rather than dead weight bolted to the frame. This isn't just clever engineering. It's a complete reimagining of what a car is. The battery pack becomes the spine of the vehicle. Front and rear castings bolt directly to it. Electric motors mount straight onto those castings. Suspension, brakes, wheels, everything clicks together in rapid sequence. The entire lower body takes shape in under 30 seconds. Traditional manufacturers would spend hours at this stage, managing dozens of sub-assemblies and hundreds of connection points. Tesla eliminated all of that complexity, but does speed compromise quality, or does eliminating complexity actually improve it? The most critical moment in the entire process is called the marriage, when the completed upper body meets the drivetrain and underbody. This step demands absolute precision. We're talking about 2 massive sections, each weighing hundreds of pounds, that must align perfectly within millimeters. High-strength bolts secure them around the perimeter of the structural battery pack and castings. One misalignment here, and you've got a car with handling problems, noise issues, or worse. Traditional factories solve this with dozens of alignment jigs and quality checkpoints. Tesla's solution? Engineer the tolerances so tight that the parts can only fit together one way, correctly. It's faster, cheaper, and according to their data, more reliable than the old method. After the marriage, the vehicle enters final assembly and quality control. Every system gets checked: mechanical, electrical, software. Only vehicles that pass these inspections leave the factory. And here's the data point nobody talks about. Tesla's warranty claims per vehicle are actually trending down as production speed increases. That's counterintuitive until you realize that simpler systems with fewer parts have fewer things that can go wrong. Now let's talk about what this production system is actually building. Based on leaked internal documents, and we're estimating these at about 60% reliability, the Model 2 is a compact urban hatchback with a completely new design language. Forget the full-width light bar. Tesla's going back to a simpler headlamp setup similar to the early Model 3, prioritizing efficiency and aerodynamics over visual flair. The body uses next-generation Giga casting that reduces panel gaps and increases structural rigidity. 4 doors, refined hinges for better access in tight parking situations, and a minimalist exterior that screams affordable without looking cheap. Step inside and the cost-cutting becomes obvious. Fabric seats instead of synthetic leather. No seat heating, no multicolor ambient lighting, no premium sound system, single-pane windows instead of acoustic glass, no panoramic roof. If you're coming from a Model Y or Model 3, this will feel like a downgrade. But here's the critical detail everyone's missing. The Model 2 reportedly keeps the full self-driving hardware stack. Forward-facing cameras. Onboard processing. The complete FSD platform. Why would Tesla include expensive autonomous driving hardware in their cheapest car? Because this isn't just a budget vehicle, it's a robotaxi in disguise. Once regulations catch up, these cars could become part of Tesla's autonomous fleet. That's the long game. Build millions of cheap cars, harvest data, deploy them as robotaxis later. Does that change how you think about the $25,000 price tag? Here's where the leaked specs get really interesting. Standard Model 2, approximately 50 kilowatt-hours battery, 300-mile range. If you know anything about EVs, that ratio seems impossible. A 50 kilowatt-hour pack delivering 300 miles? That's 6 miles per kilowatt-hour. Better efficiency than almost anything on the road today. But factor in 3 things: extreme weight reduction from Giga casting, next-generation battery chemistry, and obsessive aerodynamic optimization. Suddenly, those numbers start making sense. Tesla's already achieved 4.5 miles per kilowatt-hour in the Model 3. Push that efficiency another 30% through weight savings and aero improvements, and 300 miles from 50 kilowatt-hours becomes plausible. There's reportedly a long-range variant coming too, though pricing hasn't leaked. But even if it costs $30,000, that's still undercutting every competitor while matching or exceeding their range. How do traditional automakers compete with that? They can't build cars this fast. They can't cast chassis this cheaply. They don't have vertically integrated battery production. What's their move? Here's what keeps me up at night. Tesla has essentially created a manufacturing process that scales exponentially while traditional automakers scale linearly. Ford can build more factories, hire more workers, buy more robots, but they're still fundamentally limited by the complexity of their assembly process. Tesla eliminated that complexity. Each Giga Press replaces 450 robots. Each structural battery pack eliminates dozens of assembly steps. Every simplification compounds. And when you're producing a vehicle every 4.5 seconds, those efficiencies multiply thousands of times per day. Do the math. 4.5 seconds per vehicle equals 13.3 vehicles per minute, 800 per hour, 19,200 per day, running 24/7. Even accounting for maintenance windows and realistic production schedules, that's over 5 million vehicles per year from a single production line, from one factory, with minimal labor costs. Now ask yourself, what happens when BYD, Volkswagen, or GM try to compete on price with a company that can manufacture at that scale and cost? They can't match it without completely rebuilding their manufacturing philosophy, and that takes a decade minimum. Tesla's already there. This isn't just about Tesla making a cheaper car. It's about fundamentally resetting what affordable means in the EV market. When a fully featured electric vehicle with 300-mile range and autonomous driving capability costs $25,000, the entire industry has to recalibrate. Chinese manufacturers like BYD have been competing on price by accepting razor-thin margins. But even they can't match Tesla's manufacturing efficiency. European automakers are stuck with legacy union contracts and outdated factories. American manufacturers are just now starting to take EVs seriously. And Tesla? They've been optimizing this process for 5 years, learning from every Model Y they've built, refining every step until there's nothing left to cut. The Model 2 isn't their first attempt at affordable manufacturing. It's the culmination of everything they've learned. So when Elon Musk says this car will be produced faster than anything in history, he's not exaggerating. The production system is already running. The castings are being tested. The assembly line is being optimized. All that's left is flipping the switch. So here's your answer. At 4.5 seconds and $25,000, is Tesla sacrificing quality? No. They eliminated the complexity that caused quality problems. Fewer parts, fewer failures. Simpler assembly, tighter tolerances. The Giga Press doesn't just build faster, it builds better. This is why traditional automakers are terrified. Tesla created a manufacturing system impossible to compete with using old methods. And this philosophy, radical simplification, relentless optimization, is the same one pushing Starship toward Mars and making reusable rockets routine. Model 2 launches next year. Legacy automakers have 18 months to respond. But what happens when millions hit the roads? When $25,000 EVs become baseline? What do you think happens when electric vehicles become truly accessible? For teachers, families, everyone who never considered an EV? This is Tesla Zone, where we break down the technology reshaping transportation and beyond. The affordable EV revolution just started, and we're tracking every development. The future isn't coming, it's rolling off the line every 4.5 seconds.